Hi there. Um, a few videos ago, and for a number of videos, I was having audio troubles. And just to let you know, I did find out it's not a haunted webcam, although it's behaving differently. There was a little tick box where I had checked right sound, and I have had that checked ever since I owned the thing, and it didn't used to jack the volume way up like that. But anyway, mystery solved, tick box unticked, and all is well. This turns out to be a part 3 to a set of videos that I didn't know it was a set of videos until this came through last night, well, this morning, 2:02 a.m. The Mayan day is 6 Crocodile. It's actually today. It seems like yesterday. I was high on this all night. I'm not sure I slept. I was just laying there, uh, charged, really charged. And so, everybody, get into heart and follow the little journey in heart. Mind might not be thoroughly impressed with what's offered here, but heart may well be. Okay, this is, oh, and the first video is the one that says, it's a live one, why are we here, are we crazy? The second one is another, why are we here? And then this is the third one, answers arriving. Okay, this is a follow-on to my pondering, why are we here? I'm fairly certain it's not because we're simply crazy, so we can move on from that one. Though I'm sure many of us can see how that is a valid perspective at times. It just seems that way when we're in the midst of this craziness in the 3D dimension that surely we're nuts to have come down into the middle of it. But anyway, I continue focusing on the NDE, the near-death experiences of people. In these, I find the closest thing to our natural state on the other side. People come closest to that, capital T, during this time. This is when we seem to be the most sane. Now, I freely admit that I do not consider sleeple or sheeple to be thoroughly sane. In their daze, they are temporarily not who they really are, and so not sane. Now, though everyone doesn't have the life review as part of their near-death experience, I'm seeing that as the core or main event. It seems pivotal and the thing which most helps them sort out the life they've just been living. It puts everything back into a sane perspective. Sane being what makes sense from the higher perspective of our real being, not the false self, the small self, the personality here. So, if the life review is key, what does it show us? These people of every sort and kind, from gangsters and thugs, which is what Dannion Brinkley was, to lovely spiritual beings, all have the same experience of going back over the life. Now, the biggest point about this may be how they see the experiences not just from their perspective, the perspective of their body mind. They see it from all perspectives, feeling and experiencing directly all of the results, all of the consequences of their interactions with life. Let's all remember here that there is no judgment in the life review. There is merely assistance that helps us see things from every perspective. We are not judged nor condemned. If we were, then some of the real thugs going through this should be experiencing hell, and they're not. Instead, they're in what amounts to heaven. Now, one little side note here for those who insist on believing in hell. That's perfectly fine. I don't mind. After all, it's your choice what you believe. It's my understanding, though, that the only one who goes through a hellish experience is one who holds belief in such things. And perhaps those who feel deeply guilty for how they've lived their life, even subconsciously. Most of what we're seeing there is coming up from the subconscious. I don't want to get into the whole hell thing here, as it's not a part of my pondering, so I'll leave it at that. Remember, I'm just sharing my understanding. That doesn't mean I don't support you and your beliefs. I believe in free choice, and we're all the beneficiaries by sharing our own distinct perspectives. So, we're at the life review. We're looking back over our life. Come on now, be in heart with this, and we can get back in touch with one of our own life review experiences. They're all stored within. And heaven knows we've had quite a few. And since heart is in the perpetual now, they are just as accessible now as they were at that time. Be in heart to hear this, or mind will just be freaking out. You contain all of this. Get rid of the belief, all beliefs, that act as blocks to your being able to experience such things. These other lifetimes, they are your own experiences. You have the right to them. Just let the blocks go. What is the heart and soul of the life review experience of an NDE? Isn't it love? Love of the divine sort? No matter what incident we're looking at, it really doesn't matter what was said or done, so much as where did that come from? What was the motivation there? Do you see? It's not that you helped an old lady across the street. It's, why did you do it? What was your attitude? Was it only because someone else was looking and you wanted to look good? Or maybe because your father said you should do such things? There's a big difference between such motivations and that which springs directly from heart. Those things that seem to erupt from there without any forethought. You just find yourself doing that, whatever it is that's from heart. It's as if you are being danced. You're not leading and you're not following. You're just dancing. Only the dance is doing you. You're not doing it. Be in heart. This is flow, as I call it, heart flow. Doesn't originate from mind. So, if that is the key or the heart of the life review experience, what it has to offer the newly crossed over soul, then what can we take from it? Isn't that the pivotal experience in which the whole lifetime is actually summed up? Then it's the key to find out why we're here, isn't it? Well, right now, that's how it seems to me. That tells me the point of living this life, and even how to do it. That tells me that being in heart is the height of what I'm here for. Why any of us is here. Just being available to that flow, to the experience of being danced, is the whole life's work, the whole point of it. Can I make room for that? I'm working on it. Some things you just have to look at, do what you can with, and then drop them down into heart. Some things need to simmer a while before they're fully ready, which is why I didn't record this one last night. This may be one like that. I don't get anything final here. I do get that I'm very much on the right track, though. I even get that my spiritual guide is rather laughing about how long it took me to come to this. Well, I like that. I'm all for a good laugh on me. We have to come to these things ourselves. But of course, that's why so often when we ask a master, a sage, a teacher, or a spiritual guide a question, we don't get the answer we were looking for. Or we don't get any answer at all. It wouldn't do us any good if it came from their understanding. It simply must come from our own. It has to be in our experience to have any real worth. That other stuff won't hold up when the going gets tough. If it's in your experience, though, you've got what it takes. This is the graduation from mental learning to the way heart works. It's not learning exactly, since whatever we find out, we get the sense that we knew that before. We may not have consciously known it, but once we see something, that's what's behind the aha moment, that recognition. So what we're doing is more an integration with our own inner or higher self instead of a learning. Remember, we're not here to learn anything. We come into this lifetime from the realm where all knowledge is freely available. Hello! Then there is also the Book of Life, or the Akashic Record, to consult. We have no need to reinvent the wheel. We don't come from knowing pretty much everything into 3D to learn something. It's not like that. At least, I don't see it that way just now. That just doesn't make sense to me. Heart sense, or even mind sense. Oh, I have such a good feeling inside, like I'm getting closer and closer to something that's really important. Right now, I've made this integrating thing the core of my life's purpose, has been for some time, and that's the best I was able to see. Now, that doesn't mean I had a great grasp on who and what my own higher self is or what it knows. It just means that's the track I've been on. But to have this focus gained from the heart of the life review process, that really speeds things along. It helps to put the whole life into perspective. Well, that's what I'm after here. And it's feeling good, as I said. And I hope it is for you as well. Why are you here? What are you doing? And how do you feel about that? Are things going well with you? Even just to take up the perspective of standing at your own life review is a powerful tool for gaining perspective on anything we want to have a close look at. Taking that perspective settles us. It helps us shift up and out of the false or the small self back into the larger one. Another trick to help shift perspective quickly is to envision the action that you're contemplating, and now envision 1,000,000 other people doing it too. Often enough, that gives you your answer about whether or not it's such a good thing to do. I can hardly speak highly enough about the power of shifting perspective of having a flexible perspective on life, not getting locked into one way of seeing. In my life, as a military brat, both parents were in the Navy, and then later in the military myself, I have lived in so many places, and that's Kismet snoring over there, by the way. One time, I think I counted 15 states here in the U.S., and that's not temporary duty either, but real households, stays of at least 6 months. Now, what did I gain from that? All that moving around? For the others who have also been mobile in this life, you quickly notice how people who have never moved tend to be more locked in to their views and beliefs than those who've moved around. When all you've ever done or seen is how things are done in one place, then you naturally tend to think of that as the right way. It's just natural, yet it's also quite stiff. I'm very grateful for learning so many other ways of viewing things and how that's helped me to be so flexible. Okay, I don't know that it forms a sufficient reason for this particular lifetime, but I think I'm ready to admit that what I've discovered in the life review experience does give me something of great importance. That's how to live this or any lifetime. Life within flow, heart flow. That's not a mission nor a purpose, but that's okay. That will come when it will. And actually, I find it kind of secondary. Meanwhile, what I have here is really important to me. It's the how of life. What it displays too is how to perfectly stay in the now moment. That's the only way to be in the flow. As soon as time enters the picture in any way, you've slipped over into mind again. That's just how it works. It's very cut and dried. Now, I've gained this understanding from a lot of observing of my own life. You may be different. Do keep that in mind. What you discover after your own time of observation may be distinctly different, and I won't be offended at all. I don't need to be right in anything. That's not the point. And it's not something we find in higher consciousness, this whole right and wrong thing. We're seeking truth here, and none of us really know what that is. At least we don't have it locked down at this point. So there's no one who can tell you what is right for you, nor can you tell me what is right for me. The more we learn to rely on the inner self, on heart, or on source, or whatever we call it, the better off we'll be, and the quicker we'll make the desired connections within. It's our own self that's got to be saved here. We're working strictly on us. That is so totally key. Why is that? Because until we've awakened, that is, been saved in this sense, then we don't have that to offer to anyone else. Nor will we know what they need in that moment. Only higher self knows such things. So we need to first become that. Do you see? Then we're in the very best possible shape to render the best aid and assistance possible, whether to Gaia or to the friend or to the bird that's distressed over there, to anything. To capturing the moth and letting it go so it doesn't become a kitty toy. So, the very point and summation of what I'm here to do is to be me, the higher one, not the lesser one. And My pathway to that is being danced, is letting go and allowing life to be whatever it darn well wants to be, and just going with that in full acceptance. Oh my God, I think it's really coming clear, at least for me. This is making heart sense, and I now see the purpose. We come in here perfectly blind to the bulk of everything we are and all that we know, like babes in the woods. Then we trust and rely on, we come to know the kingdom within. That's where we're going with this, into the inner kingdom, what I call heart, with a capital H. Meanwhile, for every moment, every task, everything that comes up, we know the way to be, the way to approach it, is simply from heart and in heart flow. We cultivate emptiness. Anything else just gums up the flow. Oh my God, I've got nothing else to say. It came together for me. I'm so impressed. My heart, or the central chest area, is actually really hot right now. This is intense, so simple, but intense. I'm going to live with it and let it lead the way, and we'll see the fruits of that. Still, wow is all I've really got to say. I hope this helps some of you make the same connections to your own inner self, higher self.